He's a singer too.
I don't even care. You make good music, man. I don't care anymore. Yeah. What Paul Mooney say? You know what I'm saying? If you can clean the teeth, cool. If you can't, that's cool too. That's my motto for life.
Yeah. Hey, so listen, we gotta get into this review.
Yeah.
So reviewed this album this week was Travis Scott's album.
Birds in the Trap sing McKnight.
Want me to go first?
It doesn't matter to me, man. If
okay.
you want, I know you got a lot. So
you go ahead.
Did you go first? What did we do? I went first last week because I had to take a dump on that Daylight. Okay. I got the haters.
You did, yeah. Shout out to the people that didn't like Kev's review last week.
Shout out to all my haters.
We got a lot of reviews about that, man. People were like, I don't like what he said. Listen, that's why reviews are so special. Everybody's right.
Yeah, and you're always welcome to take the bunny seat.
Yes.
If you need it.
Listen, Nas Lost Part 5 is possible happening next week. So if you're in the Columbus area, hit us up.
Let us know. Over.
We got another mic, even if not, if Jay is here, we have another mic.
We'll figure it out.
All right. Travis Scott, Birds in the Trap sing McKnight was the name of the album. I don't know what the album title means. I got to think it's something personal. I did see where they had a promo where he's just sitting there and Brian McKnight singing with the gray beard.
I haven't seen this. I want to see this.
It's only like a minute long.
Okay.
And Brian McKnight singing a song, and it was actually pretty dope. But my thing is, I'm a big Travis Scott fan.
Yeah.
I love Rodeo.
Yeah.
This is on the eve of Rodeo, basically almost a year to the day.
Yeah.
When it came out last year. And Rodeo kind of came out of surprise. I started seeing people on Instagram put up a picture of this doll. I'm like, who is this guy? I didn't know who Travis Scott was.
Yeah.
So I listened to it, and I'm like, yo, this is amazing. Because I didn't know. All I know was that Travis Scott was all over Yeezus.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I saw was that. So bringing up his sophomore album. Sophomore, in my opinion, is the hardest album to make. Because your freshman album is always supposed to be good. It's the album you're making all your life.
Yeah.
Your sophomore and anything past that freshman album, I definitely hold it on different regard and see what you can do. In my opinion, was it better than Rodeo? I don't know if this album was better than Rodeo, but I highly, highly enjoyed it. First of all, I'm just going to start off with this.
Okay.
This is the album I think Kanye thinks he's making. I think Travis Scott makes music that Kanye thinks he's making. Because a lot of the same writers that were on this were on Yeezus and on Pablo. Even Travis Scott had a large in part to do with Pablo and Yeezus, but neither one of those albums were any good. They had some sort of, you listen to them and they had some sort of good things to them, but I think it got too much of the Kanye in there, which is why I didn't like him, either one of those albums. With the thing about Travis Scott that stands out to me is he a good singer? He's not a great singer. He's not a tremendous rapper, but he takes time on the song, like the cadences that go with the songs, the melodies that go with the singing. He definitely it goes with it. Like on track 2, he talked about I ride around with a tech. Like just that part right there was like he definitely cares about his craft. Not to mention he brought my man Cutter back. He brought Cudi back to the point where I loved Kid Cudi. They remade Day and Night to the point where it got me anticipating the Kid Cudi. I get goosebumps thinking about it because that's the Kid Cudi that I loved, was that guy right there in that pocket. The features on the album, everybody that was on here, listen, I don't even like 21 Savage. I don't even know who the guy was. All I knew he was the guy with the tattoo in the middle of his face that was on a Breakfast Club, and he sounded weird. When I heard this, and me and my daughter were listening to it, and she said, oh, that's 21 Savage. It sounded okay.
Yeah.
The song with Bryson Tiller bodied it. Listen, I got happy and sad when I heard that song because Bryson Tiller, I don't know who is managing you. Hit me up on GamesMusicLyfe. You need more content out there. That kid can sing. I mean, seriously, flat out, he can flat out sing. I love hearing him sing. But Travis was there right with him. And the whole auto-tune behind it is not, I loved Zapp and Roger when it was out. I understand that. But one thing about Travis Scott that stands out to me is he's a mixture of a lot of people. He's Kid Cudi, he's Future, he's there's one more I had written down. He was, well, just those two I'll put there for now.
Okay.
But he's those guys, but he has content. Like my gripe with Future is all he talks about is doing drugs and sipping something. Whereas Travis Scott had a song talking about love. He brought out Andre 3000 on the beginning. And no one really even knew who that was. He had Cassie singing 2 tracks in the background.
Yeah.
Melody wise, I listened to this album straight through. The only gripe I will say about it, I didn't know where certain songs ended and other ones started. And the reason why that is the case is because just like he did on Rodeo, he would have 2 songs in one. Kind of how Justin Timberlake used to do with Timberland. They would have one long song, but it would go into like almost, it would break it in half and be like 2 separate songs, but really one song on the track list.
Transition in there.
Right, a transition into the track list. But I'm okay with that. I found that to be his sound, I guess, but I was highly impressed with the project. I've listened to it since we reviewed it. Like when it came out, I listened to it nonstop. And I loved it, man. Like, now one thing I will say, I did read on an interview where he said that Lil Uzi Vert was going to be on the album, but the song didn't make the cut. So because of that, I'm going to give it 5 more points. Because Lil Uzi Vert was not on there. Okay? So I had it at an 87. I'm giving it a 92.
Ooh,
okay? The features on this, just listen. Andre 3000, Kid Cudi, Swiss Beats, Black Youngster, don't know who that is, Cassie, 21 Savage, Kendrick Lamar verse. Kendrick is in a different world, you know. Bryson Tiller, Young Thug, which Young Thug's song was very dope too.
Yeah.
I don't like Young Thug. I'm on record as far as saying I might need him gone, but I loved him on that song. Dude named Quavo, The Weeknd, of course. The Weeknd song was dope. Yeah. I'd heard that one a while ago. K-Force and Nav. But yeah, so I gave it an 87. But because that Lil Uzi Vert song did not make the album, I give it 5 more points, 92.
Okay. You know, now I've been following Travis since Days Before Rodeo. Now I don't know if he had any work before then, but I've been, you know, hearing him bubble since Days Before Rodeo. And then, you know, of course, got Rodeo leading up to this album now. With it, you know what I'm saying? My favorite Travis Scott song has been Skyfall of all time. Like, yo, when I heard that, I knew the dude had some potential, but some of his other tracks kind of lost me.
Yes.
You know, Days Before Rodeo, it probably had maybe 4 songs I actually liked on it. The rest were just okay. Rodeo probably had 6 or 7 songs I actually liked, and then, you know, the rest was just okay. Or, you know, I didn't want to hear it. It is what it is. This album right here, I would have to say, man, this dude is a star. Yeah, he's a star. Like, when I heard this album, I finally heard what the hype was about.
Okay.
He put together one of the most cohesive albums I've heard all year. I mean, the whole thing plays top to bottom, and it really sounds like he probably either stuck with himself as the producer or whoever was working on the project, they worked on the project through and through. Because even though each song has its own unique kind of flavor, they all have got just kind of this like slow, mellow, dramatic, deep bass.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Perfect trap drums on there. Like, he really created an ambiance with this album, which is hard to do. And the whole vibe of the album, it just rides through it, even though, you know, he switches styles. I mean, he's got the one joint on there. We've kind of got the Caribbean vibe that everybody's doing now. He's got his rendition and did it pretty good. I mean, you start the album off with 3 Stacks.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, is 3 Stacks gearing up to come back?
Yes, he is.
You know,
he's active.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's moving around right now.
The last couple albums we reviewed, he was on them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So he's active right now.
He's moving around. But you know what? I like that he didn't overuse those features.
No.
It really sounded like he collaborated with these artists now. And the biggest example of that was when he got on the track with his father, Kid Cudi. All right.
That's who it was, Kid Cudi.
Yeah.
That was my third one I was saying. Yeah, okay.
When he got on the track with his father, Kid Cudi.
Yes.
And, yo, that was the perfect blend of 2 artists collaborating. Like, I want them to make an album together. And before I go any further, man, like, Cudi, thank you. Can we just get 12 of those from you, man?
Yes.
And just press it on a CD. I will go. My car didn't even have a CD player, but I will go buy the CD. All right, man, just to support it. If you could give me 12 of those, man. At 14 if you're feeling generous for Man on the Moon 3, because this is the Cudi I love.
Hey, when Travis flipped it and was a day and night, he went into that.
Yeah.
That was so mean to me, man.
And you know what? To me, that was just paying homage to, you know what I'm saying, one of the greats.
Yes.
You know, because quiet as it's kept, Kid Cudi had a lot to do with pioneering the sound that's popular right now. He did it before it was popular, and, you know, he was kind of an alternative sound, but a lot of what these guys are doing now is just a rendition of what Kid Cudi was, you know, bringing to the forefront many moons ago before he went off the deep end and started making albums like Speeding Bullet to Hell, which Jesus can go straight there.
Yes, it can.
But, you know, if I can get this Cudi back, you know what I'm saying, all will be right with the world. Like, you know, it was a father-son moment that made me proud on this album, you know, definitely. But just top to bottom, man, like Travis really held it down. Like his sound is so much more mature. It's so much more fleshed out. This is what I felt like Pablo wanted to be.
Exactly. I'm saying I think he makes the music Kanye thinks he's making.
Yeah, like I could hear it. I could hear it like while he was doing those songs. Like, you know what, this sounds like Ye. And you know, I think Ye had a big hand in this album too.
He thanked Ye on Twitter. He did thank him.
He had a big hand in it, but you know what? He's just doing it better. Like this is leaps and bounds.
And that's why I think is the problem with Kanye, to the point where I don't want to say Travis Scott does a better Kanye than Kanye, but the fact that Travis helped Kanye on his album and it didn't sound anything like this. Like this is, I mean, like everyone's just gonna listen to it, man. Yeah, like, it's really just a great album.
It was really just a good piece of work. And you know what? And what I really appreciated was he almost took the stance more so of a singer, to where, you know, his lyrics, they're not really complex,
right?
But you know, he incorporates his voice using different you know, filters and tones and things like that, in ways that make these songs melodic. And you know what I'm saying, they make them easy listening, and it just sounds good. Like he's got his sound perfected. You know, of course he's gonna have to grow and, you know, kind of come out of that bubble, but for this project, it deserves the hype that it's getting, man. I rated this album out at an 88.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, I felt the same way, man. I think it's definitely something that's gonna make the cut. I don't see myself getting. I still have Rodeo installed on my phone.
Yeah.
And this one's gonna stay installed on my phone for a while as well. I didn't think it could get any. Like, I was surprised it was that good. I'll be honest with you.
It caught me off guard being that great, because you know, I've been on record like I thought Rodeo was just okay. I thought it had some joints, but he also had some joints I didn't enjoy. Everything on this album I enjoyed. Like Kendrick, has Kendrick had a bad verse? Not even just a bad feature. Has he had a bad verse?
Can we give that a second? Like, Kendrick bodied that verse, man.
I mean,
went to like
he can do anything.
Yes, he went to like, and that's what separates Kendrick from a lot of people.
Yeah,
the fact that he just went into that and he started singing a little bit.
Yeah,
and then went back to rapping. Like, I think every time Kendrick comes out, he makes it a point to say, "I'm the best."
Yeah, I mean, he can just do anything.
Yes, if Kendrick was more cocky, he could put his foot on Drake, because Drake's the biggest right now. I think he could put his foot on Drake.
As far as that rapping goes, I don't know if you can. I don't know if there's any dethroning the sixth god.
The reason why with Drake though, man, like even like with that is, man, I was watching a review. They were saying about somebody reviewed a concert of his. I'm seeing like 60-year-old men.
His concert was crazy.
Yeah, and you told me you went to the concert. It was like 60-year-old grown men in there singing word for word.
Yeah,
you know.
But like, you know, I think that Kendrick can, you know, exist in the same space.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think that puts Drake higher than Kendrick.
Yeah, I do.
I think that Kendrick will be, at the end of the day, he'll be the champion of, you know, this generation.
Yeah.
People will look back and say, you know, this was a rare talent. And they'll say the same thing about Drake. But Drake will be more puff to what, you know what I'm saying, Kendrick's J.
The question I have, too, though, is this project came under Good Music, right?
This Travis Scott, I don't know. You know what? Another thing I kind of appreciate about this album was the fact that on the Apple Music version, it didn't tell you who the features were.
No, it didn't. So
it was just the tracks.
You know, when I heard it too, because I downloaded it. When Google Play wasn't there the same day, I don't have Apple Music, so I ended up downloading it, and I listened to it, and it didn't show who was who. So when I listened to it, it was I hit you up as soon as Cutter came through, and I'm like, this sound like Kid Cudi. So when I heard Cutter come through, I got hyped, and I sent that to you, and I didn't even know that was Andre at first. Because the voice, one thing about his flow on this one, it wasn't the traditional Andre flow, the laid back, deep voice. You knew it was him.
No, he was fired off.
Yeah, he was fired off. But then I loved it when I listened to it on like my third listen. But the features kind of came through, and even to the point where Bryson Tiller, when I heard this song, I was in the car with Amaya, my daughter, and I'm like, man, I love this guy's voice. Who is it? She's like, Dad, that's Bryson Tiller. I was like, whoa, that's why I love it.
Yeah.
And I listened to it, like his verse was just amazing. Like Bryson Tiller bodied that. Like Travis bodied that. Like they were going back and forth, and the content was amazing. That's about loving a girl, how much you fall in love with her. That's why I said his content. I know you're big on content.
Yeah, absolutely.
His content is what separates him from a Future. You know, and I think the earlier version of Kid Cudi with Day and Night, which is one of my favorite tracks of all time.
Yeah. If
you listen to it, just the content behind that song is just so amazing. And I think what separates him from a lot of rappers that's out now, or younger guys that's out now, is he cares about that.
Yeah, he's taking his time.
Yes, there's a lot of matter of fact, I'm going back taking 5 more points off of YG because YG put that album out, and every time I go back and listen to one of these younger guys who do stuff with
man, you need to go back. That YG album was really good.
Nah, you
I've been
liked
listening to it still. It was good. It was really good. You got to buy in though.
Yeah.
You can't listen to it, you know what I'm saying, and not believe him. If once you believe him, you buy in. But I definitely thought that was dope, man. This was the most cohesive project I've heard from him, and the homies didn't suck.
No, the homies did not suck.
The homies didn't suck.
I don't know who those guys were. I said, but they did not suck.
They didn't suck.
They sounded good.
Everything sounded good on this album.
Yeah, man, and like the production, Mike Dean and him, and there's other producers too. Swiss Beats that just put his foot in that song number 2.
Yep,
that was my track too. But the same, like I said, once again, those same guys that were doing the production on this did the production on Pablo, and Pablo gave us a turd.
Hey man, you know he did the opposite of P&D.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. He kept the good stuff for himself.
Yeah, he did.
Or you know, either that or he went ahead and knocked Kanye's project out. Went ahead and knocked it out, and then started working on his own stuff.
But yeah,
instead of, you know what I'm saying, working on his album while
is he working on these other projects and just be like, I'm gonna say that for myself.
I think so. I think he has to keep some in the cut. I think P&D, where he was going wrong was he's making all these good songs while other artists are gearing up. Like, go ahead and knock them out. Get them what they need.
I think what P&D is doing is they're in that mixing pot of Hydra, and they're all in, you know, they probably have a collection. They probably have a good writing group. They're all together writing music, got a good vibe going, and Drake's like, yeah, I need that.
Well, I'm saying Drake has been probably sniping him for a good year.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? And when did Views come out? Views came out maybe in like April, something like that.
Yeah.
So P&D, for all intent and purposes, had the summer to kind of work on his own project. And it shows. You know what I'm saying? Because all the best stuff, while he's probably been working on this album for the past year, but all the best stuff from that project been pew, 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 getting it out of there.
All these opinions are coming from me. I'm a P&D fan.
Yeah.
I know you don't really, you're okay with him, whatever.
His best song was on the Drake project.
So does anyone even care if P&D leaves? Like,
nah.
And when it all comes down to it, Drake's gonna open the bag. They're gonna write the check. 40's gonna produce it, and they're gonna make money. They're gonna make it.
Speaking of your boy Drake, man, and the whole Hydra camp out there, man. So you got your boy Michael Trapson, aka The Weeknd, on that Travis Scott. He held it down when he started rapping at first. I was like, man, what is going on here? And then he came in with the sing rapping.
Bodied it.
Travis Scott got the best out of all these guys.
Yes, that's a great point. Everyone who put forth an effort on the album, you got exactly why those artists are who they are.
Yeah,
everybody from Young Thug, who I don't really like Young Thug, but just the beat, the way he wrote the song, everything just sounded sweet to me, man.
Travis, he took his time, man. I think as with him also being a producer, he understands how important the sound is. I'm telling you, maybe they should have just paid Travis Scott to help out with that De La Soul.